Hello, my name is Brian Hammons, Senior Solutions Architect with Amazon Web Services. This We Power Tech session is called Changing the Game, Addressing Intersectionality with Inclusive Design. Technology is more than just infrastructure. It has quickly become the platform that we use to socialize society and connect people to essential resources, tools, information, and ideas. It is often considered the great equalizer. However, with the lack of diversity in technology being in the forefront of conversations, it's important to recognize the dire consequences that underrepresented and already marginalized groups face when these considerations are overlooked or absent from the builder experience. Today we'll discuss how leaders and companies can drive innovation by applying an equity lens. I'm joined by Heather Conklin, Senior Vice President and General Manager of Trailhead at Salesforce. Though our roles differ, both of us have a customer-centric mission that starts with inclusion and diversity. We've experienced applying gaming concepts to engage and drive community-driven tech platforms. Heather, let's start with you. Can you give an introduction and share how your journey in technology began?
Yeah, absolutely. First, thanks so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to get to talk about this really important topic with you. So my journey in tech started straight out of college when I joined a major consulting firm. And I did that mostly because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my career. I couldn't imagine picking a job and going and signing up to do that job for years to come. And so consulting offered me the opportunity to try a lot of different things. And my first role in consulting was actually doing manual testing of applications. So I was writing test scripts and actually, trying to go through and test the applications that we were building. And I did not love it at the time, but I did learn so much about technology through that role. How it works, how it breaks, what good design looks like, how it's all architected behind the scenes. And that's really where I think my love for technology did come from. And after that, I moved into some roles in actually training and change management, where I was helping our clients teach their employees how to use the technology that we were building. And that was really fascinating as well because it taught me so much about how humans think and how they work and the different things that motivate them. And that's really, I think, where my personal love for people development and just really the people aspect of things came in. And then I went on to lead some really big product teams, developing and releasing products, and learned all about the muscle of product management, product development through those roles. And I had a great run at this company, but I ultimately decided I wanted to go somewhere where I could have a little more ownership over the things that I was building. And I did not even know that product management was a career. I had never heard that term before, actually, which is kind of crazy to think about because this was it was 8 years ago, only 8 years ago. But I had no idea that product management was a career, and I sort of just stumbled on it. I also sort of just stumbled on Salesforce, which is where I am now. And I've had an awesome career at Salesforce over the last 8 years. And one of the things that I'm most proud of in my career at Salesforce, and is super relevant to this conversation, is that I created and still lead today our Associate Product Manager program. And this program is taking students directly out of undergrad and teaching them how to be a great product manager and a great leader. And the program has a huge focus on equality and inclusiveness. And that's from everything from who we hire to be in the program, making sure that that group really represents what the world looks like around us, and just how we think about developing products and working with teams and other people. And that has been just a huge, huge passion of mine, something I think I'm most proud of, honestly, in my career. And now I'm the general manager of Trailhead, and it's I I honestly feel like I've kind of landed my dream job. I'm able to take my passion for technology and product and combine that with my passions for helping people. And now together with my team, we're helping millions of people worldwide. And it's really awesome. It feels like I've landed in a good place.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting because that actually parallels kind of one of the next questions I was going to ask, where it's the concept of using technology to extend reach, right? And to start bringing others in and help mentor and foster. So, kind of on that note, I was curious. At Trailhead, you see technology as a way to focus resources on those that can't be reached, right? What
Absolutely.
so can you discuss a little bit about Trailhead's philosophy and how it, like, that showcase or how that resonates with you?
Yeah. So at Trailhead, our mission is to help anyone build skills for the jobs of the future and to provide equal access to all into technology. And Trailhead actually got started about 6 years ago, and there was a guy from our developer evangelist team. And the developer evangelist team is really all about how do we create more developers, how do we make developers more successful in our ecosystem. And he thought, if I can figure out a way to make the career of developer more accessible to all and make it fun and easy to learn how to be a developer, then I can create way more developers in our ecosystem and really expand this out. And that's how Trailhead was born. And it's this, it was a small pet project at the time, and it just absolutely took off. It was insane. I was at the company at the time and just watching how this thing gained such really viral kind of traction within our community was so impressive. And I think when we look at it, why did that happen, and what is unique about the way that we have used our learning platform to reach so many different people? It really comes down to three things, I think. First is we make all of our content very bite-sized and interactive. So we take really complex topics like, developing code or artificial intelligence or digital transformation and break it down into these bite-sized chunks where it doesn't feel overwhelming to be tackling this giant topic. It's very approachable for anyone, and all interactive. So you're taking quizzes and you're doing flashcards, doing these hands-on challenges where you can really test your knowledge and know that you're on the right track. And second is, and this I think is probably the most important thing about the kind of learning that we have on Trailhead, is our voice and tone. We were so intentional about the voice and the tone that we used in our content right from the start, and it has become really very core to everything that we do. And we wanted to make it so that when you were learning these topics, it felt like you were just talking to a friend. Everything was supposed to be very accessible language. I think we've all had the experience where you read something that is more technical or more advanced, and you have to read it 10 times in a row and you're still not really sure what you're reading. You have to Google the different terminology, and it makes you feel like a little bit of an outsider, and we didn't want any of that. We wanted it to feel like again, that talking to a friend, everything was there for everyone feel, and that has still been a big part of how we develop all of our content on Trailhead today. And the last piece is about gamification. So we made it fun to learn. When you complete a badge, confetti falls, and you're earning points, and you're building up your rank, and that has become something that has really helped to bring our community together. People are sharing what they're doing and sharing what they're learning. The rank that you have is a sense of pride within the community, and it's all really incredible to see. And in our community, we have these people that we call trailblazers, and for us on Team Trailhead, this is what every day is all about. We wake up, we do everything for these people who are literally using Trailhead to change their lives. We have amazing stories of people who, there's a guy, Aaron McGriff, and he was a janitor and a security guard, and he got laid off, and he had no path for his career, and he found Trailhead, got learning, and now he's in consulting for Slalom and has landed an amazing job. And he's just one story of so many like that. And that's what, inspires all of us every day on Trailhead and makes it so we know that the things that we're doing and this approach that we've taken to really make it all accessible to everyone is really paying off in huge ways and impacting lives in a really meaningful way. And so that's what, has certainly been most inspiring for all of us. It's why we do what we do.
Yeah, that's and a couple of things kind of resonate there. One is, the importance of community building, right? The importance of this concept of equity, and then also the force multiplier, right? So
Yeah.
the ability to kind of to take an idea and then to start, building this sense of community and letting that kind of drive the growth of this community and the growth of folks' attraction to the platform. So
Yeah.
this incredibly resonates
Yeah.
with at least kind of the way I've seen these builder models or the concept of constructing these productive or communities
Yeah.
to be
And I think
actualized.
that's also like the coolest
I
part with our community is that each individual, we've got those stories like Aaron's, who he's done amazing things for himself in his own life, but it's been amazing to see that nobody's stopping there. Like they could totally say, I got my job that I needed, I'm good. They're actually
yeah
turning, and like you said,
yeah
that multiplier effect is there where they're saying, it's not good enough that I got here. It's how do I turn and find more people that look exactly like me and help them see this path for themselves too. And that it gives me goosebumps, honestly, just talking about it, because it's so powerful to see how each person then impacts the lives of so many other people.
and I think it is a common. It's a story that does resonate. It's one that draws parallels, at least with folks from these communities, as they're given these opportunities. Like they feel a sense of ownership as they go forward. I'm actually interested. Is that something that plays directly into the design decisions that you make within the platform, even getting that direct feedback and closing the feedback loop?
Yeah, totally. At Salesforce more broadly, we are really focused on creating a more equal future for everyone, and that plays out in a number of different ways. And it's obviously very core to the Trailhead mission. But equality is one of our core values as a company more
Yeah.
broadly, and it's not just like one of those values where you have it written on the wall and nobody ever really talks about it or deals with it. It really is a part of how we operate day to day. And we're thinking a lot about, not just thinking about it, we're taking action in a number of ways to drive more inclusive hiring, inclusive management, inclusive promotions, really thinking about how do we bring together the right teams of people to make sure that we do have a really diverse set of backgrounds and perspectives and ideas and points of view. And I know that's really core to a lot of what you're looking to build through this We Power Tech program.
Yeah.
And so we do a few different things specifically for Trailhead. Obviously, all the things I talked about in that last part all apply for that question, but a few additional things that we're doing. One is we've actually created on Team Trailhead something that we're calling an equality council. And basically, this is our way of holding ourselves accountable so that, we don't just talk about how we want to drive equality out in the world, but we're actually using the council in a very internal way, meaning that this council is going to hold us all accountable to measuring our progress. Are we actually hiring more more people more inclusively on our team? Are we actually building more inclusive processes and products? Are we looking at vendors differently going forward? So this council is really, again, like to make sure that we start in our own backyard. With any of these big things that we're trying to change in the world, I think that we've all found that if we can find the right place to start, and for us, it's on our own team, that we can really go far. Another cool thing that we're doing is with our community, as you said, the community is so important and so critical, and we want to make sure that our community is also very inclusive, and that we have an equality focus on our community. And so one of the things that we're doing now is we're just about to launch an equality study where we are going to better understand what does the makeup of our community really look like from an equality and representation standpoint? And then we can start to set some goals and actually measure progress, year over year. And I think for us, that's one of the key things is that you can't, it's not, again, not just something you talk about. You have
Yes.
to get some data, get the information, make some goals, and then actually drive that progress forward and measure it. And if you can't measure it, you don't really know if you're making the progress that you want to have.
I'm not going to add anything to that because 100%, right? That's kind of the steps to actually make meaningful progress is you're able to baseline and benchmark on some of the steps you've taken, what's worked, what hasn't worked. But that shows that there's a continuation of growth. Um, and this is one of those things because I want to try to make some of these steps a little bit more concrete. If you really had to leave the audience with a few key takeaways or direct them to the places that they can be most effective as they start their journeys, what would that be?
I think the main thing I would say is do not underestimate the power of someone seeing themselves in whatever it is that you do. The idea of representation matters. It matters so, so much. The story I'll leave you with on this is within Trailhead. We tell a lot of stories throughout our content, and those stories have a bunch of characters, and we call them Salesforce Landians. But we developed all of these people that you see throughout our content with, again, a focus on inclusion and equality right from the start, and so they represent all kinds of different backgrounds and things. And we have this one great story of a man he's a Sikh man, and he was taking one of our modules, and he saw one of the characters who was wearing a dastar, a turban, and he said it was a profound moment for him because he had never seen someone who looked like him reflected back to him in a professional, content kind of setting. And it really meant something to him, and so it seems so small, but I think we're all developing products and content and marketing and wherever you can, just thinking about, can I put a different face on this, can I use different words to make it so that someone can really feel like they identify with whatever that is. It doesn't have to be a long process. Everybody can start with that right now, and it will make a huge impact to everybody who is consuming whatever it is that you're putting out into the world.
Heather, thank you so much for coming. This has been an absolute pleasure. I think that a lot of the things that you're saying here should resonate. It definitely resonates with me, and I'm sure it resonates with a lot of folks in the audience. So appreciate your time, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much again for having me. It's been great chatting.